Today's episode is really special because I'm joined here by my cousin, Jordan Teichman. Jordan is the Vice President and Certified Financial Planner at UBS, where she helps families across the country with wealth management and financial planning. She's a working mom, entrepreneur, and someone who has always balanced life ambition, family, and career with so much grace. But beyond all of her professional success, Jordan and I share something even deeper. A family rooted in incredibly strong women who shape the way we view work, resilience, and life. Today, we're diving into those memories, the women who raised us, and the lessons that still drive us today. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How is life as the VP of UBS?
It's busy. It's busy in a good way. It's one of the craziest, busiest, grueling season of life, but I love it. It's fun. It's fun to always be kept on my feet. Everything that's changing in our industry, watching my daughter grow as she changes, every day is different and keeps it fun and exciting.
That's so awesome. I love hearing that. I love asking, hey, how's it going? And getting that positive answer, because I think this world lacks positivity lately. And to hear that things are great just makes me so happy for you. But so listen, I want to dive into, we're here to talk about our family history and why we are the way that we are today as far as our entrepreneurship, business, things like that, and our work ethic. I think that's really a key word, work ethic. So I really want to talk about where it all started. And I think you know where I'm going with this. Yeah. And that would have to be the great and amazing Dora Guevara, AKA Dolly, AKA to us, Mum. And so I think it's important to really tell her story, not only tell her story, but also talk about our experiences as young children and, her influence on us. And not only her, but also your mom as well. Aunt Jean to me, mom to you. Yeah. So, but let's talk about Dolly. I want to go into Dolly was an amazing woman, and obviously she's not with us here anymore, but she was just like a pioneer for women, I feel like. Yeah. And so when we're talking about Dolly, we're talking about like the 90s, how we know Dolly in the 90s. You were very young. Yeah. You, especially like in her career, you were very young. I was probably all but like 9, 10 when I really remember her. You were really young, like 6-ish. Yeah. Maybe even younger than that. We're 6 years apart, right?
We are. Yes. Yeah. So like 5, 6. Right. When I first had like memories as a child, bring on Dolly. That was probably some of the first things I remember.
Yes. Right. So Dolly was, let's start out with like, she was a divorcee, right? Yeah. She divorced Pup when I guess our parents were young. Yeah. She was a single mom. Yep. Who had a job, and I got this information from your mom that she started out in billing for the MUA of Gloucester Township. Yeah. She didn't have a high school degree. Yeah. So she was at the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah. She started out in billing. And then she worked her way up to payroll. And I don't know the in between, but basically what happened was she got into the role of assistant administrative clerk and office supervisor. So I knew that Dolly always had a big role because of when we got to go to her office. And that was really, really cool. I remember walking in, and first at the MUA of Gloucester Township, you first walk into, and we called her Aunt Joan. She was the receptionist. She was the board op. She would patch through all the calls to everybody. Remember that big board?
Glass, like the plexiglass before COVID. Like it was just like, bam. She would hit you just right when you walked in.
Yep. It was like, hi, how can I help? Like, it was like she was the guard,
Yes,
right?
Exactly. That's exactly what she was.
But then we would always walk in with my mom, and it was very lackadaisy. It was like, hey, Aunt Joan, how are you? And like, this is how close, I mean, listen, they were neighbors, but this is how close we knew her staff. And then I remember, and I know you don't really remember this too much, but she would take us around to every staff member and say, here's my granddaughter. Yeah. Right?
I do. I remember it vividly. And it's funny because my mom actually told me when she was 4, before she went through a divorce, when my mom was 4 and she was still with our grandfather, she wanted to start working because they only had a black and white TV. She wanted a color TV. And she said, well, you know what? No one's going to, at that time, our grandfather was working in the hotel industry. Nobody was going to just go out and buy her a color TV. She said, you know what? Maybe I'll start working, right? And I thought that was so interesting to hear that. Also, too, of like, it wasn't that long ago when we didn't have color TVs, right? But I remember that specifically about her. She just said, look, I need to go out. I guess really meaning that she never had the intention of being what she was. She just went out into the world and started working, and people just started to get to know her. Like you said, she was a clerk, and it just snowballed into something beautiful because of who she was.
I didn't even know that story.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, something she taught us at a young age is you want something, you go get it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give it to you. And I thought it was just so beautiful. But you're right. I mean, I have small memories of her. I remember her red 90s shoulder pads, skirt suit. Just perfect. She looked perfect. Her hair was slicked back on the side. She had thicker, maybe a little bit smaller hoops than I'm wearing, but just she looked pristine. And when I walked in behind her, I felt like coming from, I don't know, soccer practice, like the schlep walking in as a 5-year-old. And, you don't realize like your grandmother's in such a position of power, but you do realize the way that she made other people feel in that room was unbelievable. Like, to me, when I saw her work to me was, I equated to going in and helping people and making an impact. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like when she would show us around her prized possessions, she'd say her granddaughters, people loved it. And I felt that people she was so loved. She really was, like, by every single person that she touched. She was just so loved.
She really was. And it's funny because obviously we had different experiences based off of the years. We have 6 years between us. In that setting, I knew that she was a very important person, especially because she had the back, like eventually we would get to the big back office and she would have, it was like a typical like 90s setting. Like she had the table of all the picture frames and the photos, and she had the 2 big chairs in front of her desk. Like it was just so movie-esque, like 100%. 90s movie, right? And I remember she had the big typewriter. I don't know if you remember the typewriter. That was really cool too. But and the way that she was dressed, I think that you hit it on the head. Even, being at her house, like I would always try her high heels on and all her jewelry. And she was always dressed to impress. And I think that just really came with her role. Another thing that I really loved about Dolly is how she knew everyone. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just through the MUA. She was heavily involved in politics. We know this because, she was always influencing politics with us. Like, I think one of her biggest things was, you have to vote. As soon as you're 18, we're registering you to vote.
Oh yeah.
You better vote. And I remember as a kid, she would have us, I almost want to say this was like our first job. Like, she would give us literature. Mm-hmm. We would go in the van and we would go down the neighborhood and hand out voting flyers to the neighborhood.
Yeah. 100%. She would say if your ancestors knew that they almost died for you to be able to vote, and then you didn't vote, like, we'd be disowned.
Yeah.
We would be completely disowned. It's like she always told us and taught us the amount of work it took to get women to where they are today. So the privileges that we have in our lives, make sure to not forget and take advantage of them because people really did, you know.
But she networked. She knew everyone. She was the person to call. It was like, even as a kid, it was like, if you needed something, call Dolly. Dolly be like, I'll call you right back. Let me make a couple phone calls.
100%.
Hang it up. 100%. You get a call back from her right away. And she would get the job done.
She was a natural. That's exactly right. She was a natural connector and natural networker. And everything, I mean, as we have different upbringings, but everything you do a phenomenal job of, just like Dolly did, of like, what is it that you do? Okay, let me connect you with so-and-so. Every time that I'm, you know, we just started a new business for our family. I didn't even hang up the phone telling you about our new business. And you said, let me get a flyer up. Let me connect you with so-and-so. It's like this, I don't know if it's as much something you learn in college, but it's like innately bred into your genes of who you are, of like, you are a natural connector. And so was Dolly. And that's how she got things done, because she just constantly was thinking of other people.
Yes. And it's funny because I never looked at myself in that way until I think you even said it. You're like the Dolly of Atlantic County.
100%. And it's funny because I'm watching you, like, I know that you have always been like that, but just seeing it now as you're a little bit, I mean, you've been in this industry for quite some time, and now that you feel confident and you've made a lot of contacts, you never forget those people, and you always like connect them. And such like, you're like, you need to talk to so-and-so, you need to be talking to, and it's such a beautiful thing, because that's who Dolly was. She would connect people, and then what she said she was going to do, she did. Those are two really big things that I see in you as her granddaughter. So
thanks.
Yeah.
That's like special. So like, that's awesome. And I have to say, like, and like, this is one of the biggest reasons for the podcast, is to make those connections and to let, you know, women know, like, okay, well, guess what? We just introduced you as the VP of UBS. Like, if you're at all interested in financial planning or don't know enough about financial planning, like, here we go. Here's a contact already.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, she was definitely a pioneer for that. And so I just, you know, I do, you know, to sum her up, like, her work ethic was amazing. She was always out there, always doing something, always, again, connecting people. And so, but she wasn't the only person in our family who really showed us the pathway of what it's like to be a female entrepreneur. Like, a female entrepreneur term wasn't really used back in the 90s, but like, she really was a person who showed us a lot. But the second person in our family who had just a little bit more of that present intellect was your mom, Jean. Yeah. And she not only learned from her own mother, Dolly, but she had, you know, she went to college, and she was working, I don't want to say a more modern job, but she was also she was corporate. Yeah. She was very corporate. Yeah. She wasn't local level. She was corporate.
Right.
And so I want to start talking about Jean a little bit more, and let's hear it from your point of view now as a child, because think about this, you're with mom every day, and you're really seeing it from a different angle that I have. I have my different story. Talk to me a little bit more about your experience and how Jean was like when you were a kid.
Yeah. I mean, Jean and Dolly are cut from the same mold, but two totally different animals. I mean, watching my mom grow up was, watching my grandmother was almost natural. She was in this, like you said, community that felt natural to her, whereas my mom was more so in a role of corporate and college educated. So my mom, very different, but also the same. She was a very hard worker and started from the bottom.
I mean, wasn't she a teller?
Yeah, she was a teller, and she did everything. There's not one role at the bank. So my mom worked in commercial banking, retail banking, right? So she started off counting money as a teller, forming relationships with people in her town. People trusted her. She said actually her favorite job was a teller role as she grew up the ranks, just of like being able to really talk to people and like do something so natural to her. So my mom started as a teller, and then slowly but surely over the next really 5 years, she worked her way up to senior vice president, regional, of 168 people that she managed with just her associates, not really any family in the banking industry. And she said something to me one time. She had a boss that said to her, look, I want to promote you for this role, and I will tell you right now, everybody else looks better on paper than you do. But you have the grit, you have the integrity, and you have everything it takes for this role, but you might not have the polish of getting your master's, which is crazy in the 90s. Who got their master's? But anyway, it just really, she was just so hardworking. My mom, I remember she'd leave at 6 a.m., she'd get home at 8 p.m. She worked really hard. And it's just such a, looking back at it.
I was going to say, what was your experience in that? Like, did you ever see like a change? Like, I think as a kid, I would have looked at it as like, oh my God, my mom works so much.
All the time.
I feel like she's not really involved in my childhood. And then as you get older and you come to more of an understanding of it, especially going into college. And I mean, you went to school for what?
Finance. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Right. So 100%. It's like, I think maybe you start to get that understanding of, oh,
yeah,
wow, my mom is a bulldog. Like she's awesome.
Yeah.
I also have this question too. What made you want to get into finance then?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about finance, it's people think like, oh, you know, you're behind a screen and you're calculating numbers and it's all these crazy equations and technical charts. But really, at the end of the day, it comes down to understanding your client, understanding what they need, right, and what their goals are, and then finding the correct financial instrument or correct solution for them. And saying, okay, you said that you wanted to fund college for your grandchildren. Here's the best solution to do that. So it's always been important to me to be somebody that can find solutions and mentor others on a skill. And that's exactly what my mom did. But the way that I wanted to do it was, I've seen my mom have a lot of trials and tribulations with starting new jobs, and sometimes there was sometimes there were things that were unfair beyond her control, that I thought, hey, I want to own my own business. I want to own the relationships and own something in my life.
You have Dolly, who was like more like local level. We just talked about this local level, helping people, but, kind of like, let's just call it small town, right? Mm-hmm. And then we go to the next generation, which is Jean, and she's more commercial banking, out there meeting more people, more of a wide scope. And then, but there was limitations to that. I think there was limitations for the both of them. You're still working for someone else. 100%. They're telling you exactly how they want things to be ran, and you only have so much control. Yeah. So now we go to the next generation, which is us, and you in particular in the financial world, where it's like, okay, like I want to help people too. I want that wide scope, but I want to do it the way I want to do it. And think 100%. About it is that I think honestly, you went to school 4-year degree, and also we're a newer generation. We could see beyond that glass ceiling. Yeah. And we're able to break that. I love always referencing the glass ceiling. That's my jam. I love that.
I love it too.
And I think that that's wonderful. I think that's what makes us who we are today. I think we've taken what our I'm like, I wanted to use the word ancestors. That's so wrong. What our family has done, and we just exploded it to a different 100%. Level. So I do want to point one thing out. And I want to say that I think there's one thing that we weren't taught well as female entrepreneurs, workers, whatever you want to call it. I think that's balancing life with work.
Yeah.
I know for me, I have such a hard, listen, I love to work. I truly, genuinely love to work.
Yeah.
And I feel like my at home, it suffers. It definitely does. I have a hard time finding that balance. I have 2 kids. You have 1. She's a toddler. She needs a lot of attention. My kids are older now.
Yeah.
But like, how are you navigating your way as far as balance goes as being a mom, business owner, and a wife? I mean, that too. Friend, family, you tell me, how do you balance it all? What are you learning? Like, because I don't think we were taught that.
I don't think we were taught that explicitly in lessons, but I know that we were taught that family, and even the friends that we call family, is paramount. I always knew that at a young age, but I was never taught how to balance the both. Like, when do you say it's enough at work, and when do you say that it's enough at home? I need to do what I need to do right now. I'm still struggling every day. I feel that in my life right now, and just the world of being so available, social media, just everything that's out there, so much content and overwhelm, where I take a step back and I try my hardest every day to just 3 key things I'd like to accomplish today. And I keep it very simple. Like, some days it's just take a shower. Like, some days it's really simple, because what happens is I let the day run me and I do not run the day. Mm. And I don't like that. I want to, again, be in control of my day. So it's saying no. Sometimes it's saying no, even just to a meeting, or sometimes it's saying no to an extra thing for Charlie, where it's like, I need to know my limits. And this is something that I'm learning, and I'm failing, and I'm growing, because I didn't really, like you said, we were not taught this as women. We were just taught family's important, holidays, being together is important, and so is a career, but not the balance of it. So it's really hard. How are you? Like, what have you learned through this?
I think I'm teaching myself. Honestly, I don't think we were taught balance at all. I think we were taught go, go, go. Like, work, keep working, work hard, don't stop. But I think balance comes with age. Yeah. I'm 41 now. You're 35.
Yeah.
And I think for you is that you're going to find your own balance in your own ways. You're going to set your limits. I think one thing is my personal cell phone number. I don't give it out to many people anymore, especially clients. And I'm sorry, clients, that you don't have my cell phone number, but there's a reason for that. I love you all, but I can't answer every call anymore. Yeah. I think that's one thing and saying no is huge. And then also, honestly, I've been learning now to be more present with the kids. Like, I feel so horrible saying this, but I try to put my phone away, and I don't even take pictures anymore, because I really try to be in that moment, because at the end of the day, it's all going to stay in here and in here. And, listen, my phone, my app, my iCloud could come crashing down at any moment, and I may not have those pictures forever, but I'll always have them in my within me.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
I'm learning as I go, but those are some of the ways that I'm balancing life. So I think that my next question for you, how about this? You gave me an example, but I'm going to ask you what you think about yourself. What traits do you think that you have the same as Dolly or Jean? Like, what traits do you have in yourself now that were Dolly or Jean? Same as Dolly or Jean.
I mean, maybe you can fact check me on this, because maybe I'm completely off base here, but I think that I truly want to care about the people that I surround myself with, and be there to serve them. And I truly care that, like, family is together. I care about my friends, and I give them everything I have. And I think that that's that's my mom. That's my grandmother. Like she really, like for me, I remember at school, like she made sure that I had every single outfit I could possibly need for my first day of school. My grandma.
Limited too.
Yeah.
Hey.
It was really nice. It was really
when
nice.
my mom took you to Limited too,
I knew she was having a good month.
And she was dropping coin, man. You got whatever you wanted. She's like,
really
you want that
did.
skirt? Okay, go try it on.
Just get it. You got to get the pants that you can zip up and be capris and then shorts. She's like, they're going to last you. Just get them.
But she would always make sure we'd have one nice outfit. She'd be like, that's sharp.
100%. That is really sharp. That's sharp. Her, I guess what we had to do is we had to try it on for her. If like she bought us stuff, I'd go in that back room at my mom's house and I would try it on. Mm-hmm. But like she just really made sure everything in my life was taken. And not that my mother didn't, but my grandma really had that, like, we didn't want for, like, she just made us feel so cherished and loved and cared for. And I want that to feel, I want people around me to feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually wanted to share this, and I'm glad you brought it. And I'm going to read a little passage. So our grandmother and her mother, my aunt, had an article written about them, and the title was "Many Business People Celebrate Mother's Day a Different Way." I don't know. I can't really read it. Sorry. But they had an article written about my aunt and her mother, and there's a picture of them on there. And in the article, and this is what I love so much. The most valuable lesson I use on a daily basis, and this is Jean talking, is to be a good person and always try to help other people in need, said Cotter of Washington Township. And that was Dolly. Mom lived her life by these principles, and we learned invaluable lessons standing in her shadow, which has carried over in our professional lives. Like, that is so stinking true. I love seeing this article every time. And like when I see this picture of Dolly, I mean, she was retired by now in her tracksuit.
I love that tracksuit. It still looked pristine. and her, like, she never had a blemish on her white sneakers.
No, never.
Like, take her out of the corporate world. She still looks polished and put together.
So, right, exactly. So, I mean, I have to ask this last question to you. And I'm going to say Dolly because Dolly's the one who started all of this. If Dolly could see you now, not just professionally, but as a woman, a mom, a wife, and a leader, what do you think she'd be most proud of you?
I think that she would be proud of both of us.
Well, yes, I'm asking you.
But I think this is a commonality that we both have, is that we didn't just build careers. We have built lives surrounded on community, helping people, and something much more than just going out and buying like a colored television. We built our lives around who we are as people and like our values and integrity. I think she would be most proud of what we've built. Mm-hmm. And I also think she would be proud that I've turned the sacrifice of her and my mom into legacy for the next generation. Absolutely. And taken, like you said, taken everything that I've been given and have just tried to make it better for the next generation. I think she would be really proud of that.
I think so too. I think you hit the nail on the head. 2 more questions I have, and then we're going to wrap this up. And they're pretty important. What's one piece of advice did Dolly or Jean give you that will always stick with you? I have a good one. I have
so many of
Mine's
them.
Very simple. Do you want to know mine? I'll tell mine first.
Let's go.
Ready? It's so simple.
Better not be mine.
It might be. So it was, it's great to be beautiful on the outside, but what's most important is to be beautiful inside your heart.
Wait, that is so much better than mine.
Is it?
Yeah. Mine was don't clean before company come over. Oh! It's called A lick and a promise. Clean after. I'm obviously coming off a weekend with a lot of people at my house. A lick and a promise is what she would always say. This is a joke. Because just make it good enough. Get yourself to the next spot, which is kind of nice because I'm a perfectionist in everything. So I love that one. But yours is so much better.
Well, you know what? And here's my thing is that she always taught us to be genuine and to just be true to yourself, but don't be an ugly person either. And I think that's what one of my, I don't want to call it as a failure as a business owner, but that's what I see so many business owners that like they don't care who they screw over or who they walk on top of in order to get to, where they want to be. And I that's just so disheartening for me. And I'm not that type of person at all. And I don't think I ever will be. And I think that's what, and this isn't by any terms of me being conceited, but this is where I think what makes me a really great business owner, entrepreneur is that people understand that I am genuine and I wouldn't be in this profession of helping women if I didn't have that feeling in my heart too. Yeah. And I think it's just important to be just not only upfront with people, but just to be genuine.
Yeah, just to be genuine. And our whole lives, she supported everything we did as we were. Mm-hmm. We never needed to be anything else. And that is, we are who we are, and people can see that. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that shines through. And the next generation sees that you don't have to be somebody you're not.
So speaking of next generation, you have a 2-year-old too.
3-nager, they call it. 3-nager.
And I have a 15-year-old. I mean, so cool. We're gonna not include my son in this. We're leaving this as women. What are we gonna do to influence these girls? I mean, you're at a totally different age bracket than I am. I'm now trying to influence my daughter, Sophia, and really getting her to understand what it's like, because she wants to own a dance studio. That's her goals. Her hopes, dreams, and aspirations is to own a dance studio. So my plan is I'm going to teach her within my business and what it is that I do and how to grow your business. And then if she wants to still open a dance studio, she has the power to do so. Mm-hmm. So I think and I have to say, I'm definitely a lot more boisterous about being a business owner with her. I'm really trying to teach her. She's already working front desk for me. Yeah. How do you foresee yourself with Charlie? I mean, maybe she's just too young. Maybe that's not something you see right now, but I mean,
I think about it every day.
Oh.
I think about it every day. And I always am reminded by my husband of just be who you are, and she's going to learn it through you. Don't worry so much about teaching her the ways, show her the ways, be the person that you say you want to be. I mean, even now she's 3.5 and says, can I get that? I have my own money, or I can work for it, because I guess I'm saying that to her as we're out at the store, or, it's just something that will be ingrained in her.
Yeah, we can't forget that. We have to remember that. It's the same thing with us.
Exactly. Yep. My mom never said, this is who I am. It was just, she was who she was. She lived it. And be who we are, and let it happen. But I don't want to mess up. I feel like I've had such a great, mm-hmm. I'm nervous to fumble, but you just do the best you can, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you. I want to just say I am so happy that we got to share our story, and I think it's a story that hopefully people will resonate with, and maybe even it inspires some mothers to, be influential on their daughters, and maybe vice versa. So I want to thank you so much for coming on here.
For having me. I love you.
I love you too, and sharing everything with me. And hopefully we'll get to do it again. But we'll talk more about financial planning maybe.
Oh yeah.
So
that will be fun. Thanks.
Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you you follow, you do whatever it is that you need to do so that you know when the next episode of the Lift Glitz podcast is coming up. Guys, thanks again for listening, and I hope you make today wonderful.